So I'm that dirty Windranger spammer that loves to pick this hero whenever the enemy picks people that like to use BKBs, because Windranger doesn't give a crap about the enemy's BKB. You can ult straight through it, you can get yourself a crit that does physical damage straight through it, and it's a lot of fun to watch the enemy carry go, hey, I've got a BKB, I'm gonna jump in, and then suddenly you ult them and they go, oh crap, what the hell just happened? So in this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience with Windranger and talking about 5 things that you should know about Windranger specifically. This will benefit people not only playing Windranger, but people who are playing against Windranger, as of course if you know her nasty little tricks, then of course you can deal with them a little bit better as well. With that being said, if you enjoyed the video, please do subscribe to the channel. We are growing very quickly. I'm posting very consistently, and other than that, well, let's go. First up is for those early game kills. Now, if you're laning in mid lane, which is where I would suggest you go, but even if you're not, you're in off lane or something like that, I would suggest that you get yourself nice and early a javelin. Now, a javelin for Windranger at level 6, I'm going to try and remember to say Windranger and not Windrunner. Either way, we're going to bounce between it. I'm old, get over it. But if you grab yourself a javelin nice and early when you get your level 6, you can use this to your advantage and get out a absolute ton of damage to kill off your enemies without really much effort whatsoever. If you ult somebody early on at level 6, this early when you've maybe got level 6 before them or at the exact same time if you're in mid lane, and you ult them with a javelin, they are going to melt, they are going to disintegrate, they aren't going to really have anything they can do about it unless they are someone who has a great escape like a Queen of Pain, or if they have some good lockdown or some way of dealing with you. But most heroes in mid lane are not going to have this as a solution. And if you can just get level 6 and then maybe just have regular boots and a javelin, you can pretty much kill anybody in lane at this point. And if the mid laner comes back, you can just do it again. What you're going to do is just run up to the hero, shackle them to a tree, or just run up to them and ult them, and then just chase them down. With a javelin, you will do so much damage that they will not know what to do about it. They will only have to run. They can't really man up, and if they do, you're going to win that trade anyway. And then as soon as that happens, grab yourself a salve and a mango, fly it out to yourself, use them up, and as soon as that hero comes back to lane, you will go, hey, I have 10 seconds on my ult, you better get ready to run, and then you do it all over again, because you are the bane of any other mid laner's life the second you get to level 6, as long as they are not someone who can blink away. But even then, if they make the mistake of using a blink in the wrong time, you just ult them, you just walk next to them, and that is them dead. You want to take advantage of this as early as you can. As soon as your ult is ready, you want to be going and looking for another target. If this means teleporting to another lane, head over there and ult someone down again, and do the same thing again and again and again until you are fed and you can just murder everybody whenever you want. After getting the javelin, I usually do get a maelstrom, which helps you farm, and then I'll usually get like my phase boots or something, because you don't want to get blocked on creeps, and then I'll grab something like a crit depending on what's going on in the game and how fed you are. For you mid laners that are getting stomped by this, what I'll suggest you do is, as soon as Windranger hits level 6, either ask someone to babysit you, or just don't put yourself in a position where she can just run up and ult you. It's pretty difficult, but if you can farm from a distance or wait for the lane to push, this will probably be your best bet. And also make sure your supports are on call, ready to teleport to help you out, because you are going to die pretty quick. Number 2 kind of balances pretty well with number 1, and it's something that you kind of can take advantage of in the early game, and you definitely want to do this, but you do have to be mindful of it in both ways. Now, Windranger has the ability Winrun, by all means, everybody probably knows this, but what this does is it gives you 100% miss rate on all enemies attacking you with a physical hit. It gives you 100% evasion. Now, during that duration, this basically means that you do not give a shit about towers. You can just run at the towers, you can just absolutely demolish anybody that's under there and not give a single crap, because the tower's not going to touch you for the duration that Winrun is active. Take advantage of this in the early game, especially if the enemy are stupid enough not to pick stuns. If you do not have many stuns to deal with, then send someone under tower, or you run under tower as well, and just charge down the enemy. What I like to do is take a look at the enemy carry as soon as I get to level 6, level 7, and I've got my javelin, and I will go, hey look, they don't have a stun on their support. Their carry isn't really got a stun either or anything like this. That carry is now going to have a terrible life. The reason being is, every time my ultimate is available, I will be teleporting to the safe lane, and I will be running over there, and I will be tower diving them and not giving a single crap about what's going on. This means you can shut down their carry nice and early, you get fed a lot, and the enemy carry is probably going to get tilted, have a screaming match at their supports, and probably hate the rest of the game. this is good for you. That being said, you do have to be cautious because one single stun and it's kind of all over. Windranger doesn't really have much survivability outside of just using Winrun. If you are going to go down this road, you need to be checking and being thoughtful of whether this could just basically backfire, because believe me, sometimes it's going to happen. If you get stunned under tower, yes, you'll be okay for a couple of seconds, but you have to abort immediately otherwise, because if you don't and you continue to tower dive when there's been a stun there or someone's teleported in, there is a good chance you are probably going to die because you are incredibly squishy. Not to mention, you also need to be aware that who can teleport in if I start tower diving, because your ult isn't an insta-kill thing. It is going to take a few seconds for you to kill the enemy off. This means that you have to be aware that yes, I am going to be under this tower for about 4 to 5 seconds in most situations, meaning people can teleport in, and this definitely can be the end of your life. So check what the enemy team has, check if they've just teleported, and if you can, just run under the tower. Use Winrun, use your ultimate, and not give zero shits about the enemy carry, and just ruin their game. Third thing on this list is I actually find that physical damage, or crits basically, is the only physical damage you mainly need to worry about as Windranger, tend to be better in my opinion than using things like a Maelstrom or any other sort of magic damage output. Now, this doesn't mean that it's always going to be the case, because there's going to be other situations that the other things are better. That being said, a Maelstrom early game tends to be better than a crit, but as you move further into the game, your enemies are going to be picking up BKBs, especially if you pick Windranger for the same reasons that I do, and that's because you see the enemy pick people like Lifestealer or Juggernaut, and you just want to ruin their lives. At this point, a Maelstrom is going to do less damage, as the magic damage won't be dealing anywhere near anything, because they use a BKB, it does nothing. At this point, having a crit, which is just the regular old Crystallis, is fine, but also a Daedalus in a better situation is actually going to be better overall. So what I tend to do is grab myself a Maelstrom, and then I will ignore upgrading that for probably the majority of the game from this point. I will grab myself a Crystallis, which is the regular crit thing, rather than the full Daedalus, and then I will decide from this point if I need anything else. If you need a BKB, then grab that next, or if you don't and you feel like you can be greedy, upgrade your thing into a Daedalus and just absolutely slaughter people. You will notice that the physical damage is probably going to be your better output in a lot of situations, and I will let you guys know that yes, stacking crits does work. It doesn't stack indefinitely, it doesn't stack perfectly. However, if you do the testing and you get 2 of the basic crits, the Crystallis or whatever they are called, if you get 2 of those, they do the same damage output as having 1 Daedalus, which actually costs less in gold by about 1,000 gold. But overall, I would suggest still just getting the Daedalus first, and then if you are going to go crazy and get a second crit, then work on it at this point. That's because you don't necessarily want to have 2 of these in your inventory and then need to buy other items, and then suddenly your inventory is overflowing with little junk items. You want to upgrade that to a Daedalus probably as soon as you can. Once I'm done with the standard Maelstrom, I will usually then move away from magic damage and we'll just work on physical damage at this point. This next one is something that can benefit both people, whether you are on the enemy team or you are playing Windranger itself. Now, this is going to be something that most people should absolutely know about, but I know so many people don't, because it's so sad to see when someone else is playing Windranger and they absolutely murder themselves. That is, if you ult someone who is using Blade Mail, your ultimate is going to continuously focus fire on that hero. It's not going to stop. It is going to just keep going until you are dead. They've used a Blade Mail, you are going to murder yourself. Now, there is 2 ways you can deal with this. One, you can use a BKB, because BKB also blocks physical damage return as well. So if you're playing Windranger and someone gets a Blade Mail, you want to get a BKB so that you can still focus that hero. There's a good chance if they bought a Blade Mail, it is because you are focusing them and you want to be able to focus them, so they got it in the sense that you're not going to be able to do this. I can't tell you the amount of times a sniper has built a Blade Mail, purely because in every fight I have altered the sniper and just made sure they can't really do anything about it. That being said, there is another way to deal with this. If you don't have a BKB yet and someone does use a Blade Mail, maybe it's a surprise one, they bought it, you didn't realize they were buying it, because it's not really normal to get a Blade Mail on a sniper, you can press X or whatever your stop command is, your halt, your stop, whatever you call it, press this and it will stop you from focusing on that hero. It will stop it. It will stop. You will stop shooting the enemy with the Blade Mail. Please. That's all it takes. Press X or press stop. I think it's X as default. It is for me at least. Press your stop command key and just stop shooting the target. Wait till the Blade Mail is gone and then get back on that target. Now in the meantime, you don't have to just stand there like an idiot. You can start killing other people instead, and then once the blade mail is expired, you can get back on that target and absolutely shred them. But keep this in mind, if you jump on somebody, they do have a blade mail, you can just press X or halt or stop or use a BKB and you'll be absolutely fine. Sometimes you're going to have to let some kills go. If you don't have a BKB yet, it is what it is. You're going to have to just let them walk away. If it's safe to do so, chase them down, and then the second that they run out of that blade mail duration, well, you know what to do next. Next, we are going to talk about your overpowered Aghanim Scepter. Now, I say overpowered, it's not too overpowered. It is strong as crap, though. Now, this ability, this upgrade from the Aghanim Scepter is going to affect your Windrun. Now, what it is going to do is Windrun will suddenly make you invisible, and that invisibility is not broken when you use attacks or spells. Yes, that is correct. Your Windrun that lasts a total duration of 6 seconds will allow you to shoot your arrows, your abilities, your spells out of invisibility and not show yourself. This sounds amazing, it sounds great, and it is super strong if the enemy aren't going to deal with it correctly. And alongside all of that, if you want to make it even better, it is going to blind the enemy as well by 40%. Now what this means is they'll miss a lot more, and it also means that they're going to miss their auto attacks on the enemies and all that sort, on your allies, sorry, and all that sort of stuff too. So this is a negligible bit, but 40% blind is still pretty good. And the reason this is included in this is because yes, that does make you invisible and you can attack and not break invisibility. That being said, there is still an animation that if you are attacking the enemy, they will see exactly where you are. This means if they have AoE stuff, like AoE stuns or anything like that, or even dust, they know where you are. They can still use this to reveal you or to stun you and deal with you. You aren't completely immune just because you can attack from invisibility. They will still know exactly where you are. It still shows you, like literally, there's a circle with a little bit of like dust going around that little circle, and they can see exactly where your character is. So if they have an AoE stun that can target the floor, like an Earth Shaker, they can stun you, they can deal with you. So don't get carried away in thinking you are invincible just because you can attack from invisibility. It is important not to overstep this and not overplay it. Having a BKB as a backup is super helpful, of course, but if you are in there and they don't know you're there because you've used Winrun to get in, that doesn't show where you are, and then you start attacking and they see where you are, they can stun you and dust you and absolutely destroy you because you're Windranger and you have no health. So keep this in mind. I see too many people thinking they're immune to basically anything to do with death just because they have the Aghanim Scepter upgrade. You are still squishy as crap. They still can see exactly where you are, and while this is an amazing little upgrade for your Aghanim Scepter, it is not an invincibility thing. It is an invisibility thing. Keep that in mind. Alrighty, so that is 5 things that you should know about Windranger, things to help you out, and also things for the allies to know as well to help you out too, because of course if you now know all these things about the Aghanim Scepter and stuff, and the Winrun with the teleports and the suns and all that sort of good stuff, it's going to help you out on dealing with that. But guys, there is so many more things you should know about Windranger as well. I just didn't want to put all of them in one video, make a 30-minute long video, and you guys be bored after the 3-minute mark. So if you want to know more, then please let me know in the comments. Leave lots of likes on the video. Do subscribe, of course, as well. Just subscribe. It's just good for the channel. It's good for my heart rate when I notice the numbers have gone up when I wake up in the morning. And of course, guys, if you did want to see more, let me know, and I will make a part 2, a part 3, whatever there has to be to make this into everything to cover with Windranger as well. I did the same thing for Invoker. If you want to see that, there'll be a link in the description to it if I remember to do it. If I don't, call me out in the comments. But otherwise, guys, hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like, do subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See you later, guys.